2, 1, and go.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the keynote speech of environment, which will be held by Christin Boldt. Christin Boldt will talk about transforming cities into sustainable living environments modeled on a bioprincipled city. Christin has been working at Biocom AG in various positions and projects since June 2015. And most recently, she co-led the Secretariat of the Global Bioeconomy Summit 2020. And now she is a doctoral student at the Universität Leipzig. So welcome, Christin. We are very glad to have you here at the virtual summit, Shaping Sustainable Cities in Latin America, organized by AVAPA and supported by the DAD and the South and the Office of BION in South America. So welcome, and we are glad to listen to your speech.
Thank you. Just let me share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen now? Okay, perfect. So thank you again, Aura, for introducing me, and thank you also for inviting me to the virtual summit on shaping sustainable cities in Latin America. I'm happy to present today my work on transforming cities into sustainable living environments modeled on a bioprincipled city. But first, I would like to give you a short introduction in the topic on bioeconomy in general and on the idea on a bioprincipled city in particular. The International Advisory Council of the Global Bioeconomy Summit 2018 defined the bioeconomy as the production, utilization, conservation, and regeneration of biological resources, including related knowledge, science, technology, and innovation to provide sustainable solutions within and across all economic sectors and enable a transformation to a sustainable economy. And in my position as the co-lead of the Secretariat of the Global Bioeconomy Summit 2020, I tried to support the International Advisory Council on Global Bioeconomy to visualize this definition and this rather complex concept of the bioeconomy, and the result you can see just here on this graph. It mainly shows that nature serves as the greatest source of inspiration in the bioeconomy, and on the left side you can see that nature provides valuable, renewable and material and energy resources, but also critical know-how on natural cycles and systems and processes. And by applicating this special qualities of biological resources and processes for the human benefits of humans and nature, with the help of science, technology, and innovation, the bioeconomy tries to reconcile nature with human needs. And on the right side of the graph, you can see then that the bioeconomy pursues an economic system that is far more superior than today's, an economic system that tries to achieve the sustainable development goals, but also sustainable economic growth. One that reduces resource consumption and regenerates ecosystems. And according to the International Advisory Council on Global Bioeconomy, a sustainable bioeconomy requires that we reproduce in a different or completely different way, circular instead of linear. And by using science to add value to biological resources and biological processes. And with its inspiration from nature, the bioeconomy fully embraces these principles of renewability, circularity, and resource use. So based on this concept of the bioeconomy, the German Bioeconomy Council commissioned in 2015 a Delphi study on flagship projects of the bioeconomy. And the aim of this exercise was to recommend to the German federal government the most important bioeconomy related fields of further or future innovation and policy support. And Bioprincipled City was one of these flagship projects. To keep it short and simple, it's a whole concept, but the main elements of this Bioprincipled City are the integration of biological principles into urban planning and city life. In a Bioprincipled City, it is about the achievement of greener cities with high level of self-sufficiency and quality of life. Then locally coordinated production, provision, use, and recycling systems ensure that cities function on the basis of closed material and energy cycles. In this kind of city, emissions, waste, and losses are minimized, and value chains are based on the cascading use of natural and renewable resources. In this kind of cities, there are spaces for recreation, production, services, work, and living, which are integrated and decentralized in city districts. And yeah, cities like that innovate sustainable building designs and construction techniques by referring to biological resources and renewable resources. All these flagship projects were assessed, discussed, and improved. And with the help of over 2,000 bioeconomy-related experts from all over the world, and they were invited to evaluate the relevance of these flagship projects. And the Bioprincipled City was one of the most important flagship projects, and about 40% of the participants rated the relevance as very high. And the participants estimated that the vision of such a Bioprincipled City could be reached by 2040. So today, the term Bioprincipled City is often synonymously used with the term urban bioeconomy. And yeah, this term is associated with positive expectations for even more livable future cities. And it combines various bioeconomic approaches and concepts in urban spaces, which are not only future visions anymore, but are becoming a reality in a variety of cities worldwide. For example, in Paris, where urban farmers are trying to a soil-free approach to agriculture that uses less space and less resources. And you can see here in this picture the world's largest rooftop farm on a new exhibition hall in the 15th arrondissement of Paris. And the rooftop farm is 14,000 square meters big. This is quite the size of 2 football pitches. The rooftop farm is called Nature Urbaine, and it is now up and running and is supplying local residents who can order fruits and vegetables online, but it is supplying also hotels, private catering farms, and restaurants. Greening urban spaces has become an important instrument for a variety of cities around the world. In Italy, for example, architects plan to regenerate a site of the Milanese district. You can see here the design of a mixed-use project referred to as Pirelli 39, which involves the renovation on the site's existing office tower and the construction of a new residential high-rise building that will include 1,700 square meters of integrated vegetation. The bridge you can see here at this picture will connect the 2 buildings and will serve as a hub for events, shows, and exhibitions. Another important bioeconomic approach for sustainable urban development is the usage of bio-based and residual materials. On this picture, you can see, for example, an example from the Netherlands where the facades and building elements were 3D printed with bio-based plastic materials for mobile Europe building. And this temporary structure was built to host the presidency meetings of the EU Council during the 6 months period in the Netherlands. And these elements could be recycled or remodeled if needed. And the usage of bio-based and residual materials helps to minimize the use of energy-intensive and non-renewable building materials in the light of their good material properties and their improved environmental balance. Natural resources can serve as materials for buildings, general construction materials, but also interior construction. And in recent years, you all know that sustainability and energy efficiency has become increasingly important also in the construction sector. So innovative and high-tech building materials have been developed from renewable resources. So also in Tokyo, where the new national stadium was designed to contribute to preserving the natural environment of the historical area around. You can see here that besides the green zones accompanying the street level access ways, that wood is the predominant material inside. And further bioclimatic strategies of this building include rainwater correction, photovoltaic power generation, and geothermal climate control, all of which helps the building's energy saving. Bio-inspired design solutions make use of energy depots, natural lighting, wastewater systems, and strategic planting to achieve energy and water autonomy. Existing projects can be seen around the world, but for example here in Hamburg, in Germany, was built the first building which was equipped with an algae facade made of classy bioreactors. And this facade does not only produce heat and biomass, it also binds carbon dioxide through the photosynthesis of growing green algae. And according to model calculations, the facade could convert about 48% of incoming sunlight into bioenergy. The chlorella algae serves as light protection as they adjust its color to the sun's intensity. And every reactor is fixed with 2 glass plates, which further ensure thermal insulation and noise protection. Another high relevant concept of the urban bioeconomy is the sustainable city metabolism. Last year, for example, the 13th German Sustainability Award for research was presented to an interdisciplinary project team that has developed an open source software to connect urban biological raw materials from individual companies, and thus contributes to closing material flows in the city. And while this software will help to better understand and measure these highly complex material flows, it will also better help to understand the demand and supply of the material flows. And so valuable resources can be recycled and transport routes can be shortened. Another example, and the last one for now, is the nutrient recovering, which is also an element of the Bioprincipled city. And this can be also found here in Berlin, where the Berliner Wasserbetriebe, Germany's largest municipal water supply company, has developed a patented solution for recovering phosphorus from sewage sludge. And with the help of a chemical physical process, the company is able to recover magnesium, ammonium phosphate, in short MAP, high quality mineral long-term fertilizer from sludge. And under the name of Berliner Pflanze, which is Berlin plant in English, the MAP is marketed to city gardeners and urban horticultural farms as long-term fertilizer. So recognizing all these existing examples of bioeconomic solutions for urban sustainable development, I decided to dive deeper in this topic. For the German Bioeconomy Council and for the International Advisory Council on Global Bioeconomy, I've been working on bioeconomy policy strategies for 6 years now. And in various policy reports, I investigated in how far different countries around the world are promoting bioeconomy policies. And yeah, this led to my research project where I tried to bring together the interest for this topic on Bioprincipled city and my work on bioeconomy policies. So I'm pursuing now my research project alongside my professional work. And I asked myself what is actually necessary to transform cities into a bioprincipled city, and which kind of policies and policy measures are actually necessary to, for this transformation. So the core question I'm pursuing with my research project is how normative scenarios can contribute to transformative change, which will move German cities to sustainable living environments modeled on such a bioprincipled city. And in order to conduct, or in order to address these core questions, I'm conducting a broader backcasting analysis, which you can see here on this screen. And I'm trying to use a desirable sustainable future vision of a bioprincipled city and look back then on how this desirable future can be achieved before then developing strategies leading towards this desirable future city. Yes, and as I'm still in the beginning of the research project, I'm currently focusing on step 1 and 2. And in order to do so, I choose Leipzig, a city in Germany, as a case study. And this is the case because Leipzig, when I started the research project, was the only city in Germany which has established a working group at the city level on bioeconomy. And this working group on bioeconomy has been established within a cluster initiative of the City of Leipzig Economic Development Department, and it pursues, for example, establishing a platform for connecting the cities and the regional stakeholders of the bioeconomy and to find and test sustainable business models for the bioeconomy at the city and regional level, and design regional transformation approaches for the bioeconomy. And this kind of engagement was quite unique at the time when I started the research project. So Leipzig it is. And within my first research paper, I'm focusing now on reviewing existing urban policies and evaluating them and how far they contribute actually to Leipzig's transformation into a bioprincipled city. And I hope to provide them insights on the challenges of steering the transition to a sustainable bioeconomy in general, and of transitioning to a bioprincipled city in particular. I hope to point out the role of governments and governance in steering urban sustainable transitions, and identify also implications for the future development of urban bioeconomy policy strategies. In order to do so, I'm conducting a policy mix analysis with the aim to provide an overall overview of the policy framework for a bioprincipled city in Leipzig. I will draw up an inventory and policy instruments which are currently supporting the development of a bioprincipled city in Leipzig. I'm documenting also policy processes, and I hope to generate implications for urban policy and practice to implement the vision of a bioprincipled city. As for now, the research resulted in the following hypotheses. The current policy framework for a bioprincipled city is complex, uncoordinated, weak on action, The bioprincipled city currently reflects more a pragmatic idea than a real political agenda. Existing policies do not effectively contribute to a city's transformation into a bioprincipled city, and German local government leeway in contributing to this transition is relatively limited. For the first research paper, I'm expecting 6 main outcomes. The first is a data set of existing policies explicitly affecting the current policy mix for a bioprincipled city in Leipzig. This means that the data set will show then policy strategies, their objectives and resulting plans and programs at different policy levels. I will then show an overall framework for a bioprincipled city with explicit and implicit policies. And I will show an inventory of policy instruments currently supporting the development of a bioprincipled city in Leipzig. The fourth outcome will be on the implications for the vision of a bioprincipled city. That means that which key elements of this vision are currently addressed and how, and which elements are not addressed at all. And what does this mean then for the vision of a bioprincipled city? The fifth outcome will be on policy processes. I will look then mainly on which actors are involved in policy making and policy implementation. And the sixth outcomes will be on policy domains or departments. So I will look on which departments are actually involved. This is quite tricky because the bioeconomy includes different economic sectors and also different policy departments. So I will look at what does it mean for policy coordination and cooperation. And yes, and to let you say a lot of few of my initial results. That the bioeconomy has so far tended to be addressed particularly at national and supranational policy levels, and has received little or no attention at all at municipal or state policy levels. The core vision elements of a bioprincipled city are, however, addressed implicitly at all policy levels, and the vision elements that focus on broader sustainability issues are addressed more often in policy strategies. And so with this, I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christin, for your presentation, and it was very interesting. And now we will see if we have questions for you. So please feel free to ask Christin if there is any question. You can ask in the live chat. You can post your questions. Okay, for now we have no questions.
Okay.
So I would say, well, thank you very much, Christin, for your presentation. It was very interesting. And now I invite all the assistants and attendees to the panel A of environment, in which we will have some presentations regarding circular economy. It will be moderated by Marco Geiger from the Umweltcluster Bayern and from Søren Metz from the TUM Sao Paulo. You can go there now, and we will keep on touch in this platform. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Christin, again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.